MyPillow founder Mike Lindell has come under attack from the left for committing not one, but three deadly sins. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez plays the race card to score political points, and China is being sued over the coronavirus. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a good week, all sheltered, all obeying social distancing and all the guidelines that we're under right now, and it looks like for the next month. I hope it's all going well with you. Let's jump into the news. And first, I want to talk about the MyPillow guy, Mike Lindell, because he's under attack from the left, and it is just amazing how fired up and pathetic the left-wing media are when it comes to something like this. Because Lindell spoke, he was at the press conference on Monday speaking with President Trump. He was invited up on stage, and the left went absolutely nuts. We're going to get to their reaction in just a minute, but in just less than 3 minutes, just like 2 minutes, he was able to commit not one, but three deadly sins that just drove the left ballistic. And you have to wrap all of that up with a big bow of pro-Trump support. Right there, just supporting the president is enough to drive the left crazy. But he did that as just the topper, just the icing on the cake. So the president was giving his press conference. He had a meeting with CEOs who are doing their part to help make masks and N95 respirators and things like that. He brought them up. He brought Mike Lindell up on stage. And here is how Lindell started.
MyPillow has designated some of its call center to help U.S. companies navigate the many issues that resulted from this pandemic. We've dedicated 75% of my manufacturing to produce cotton face masks. In 3 days, I was up to 10,000 a day. By Friday, I want to be up to 50,000 a day.
So there's sin number one, developing and delivering as a private citizen, delivering hope to America and delivering product to help the government. So as a private citizen, not the government, stepping forward to help, to do their part in this outbreak, that's sin number one. The left hates that. As soon as something like this happens, they want big government. They want government control. And the last thing they want to see are private companies, private citizens stepping forward to do their part. But Lindell didn't stop there. That was just one. Here's more.
I'm proud to manufacture our products in the United States, and I'm even more proud to be able to serve our nation in this great time of need. Thank you, Mr. President, for your call to action, which has empowered companies like MyPillow to help our nation win this invisible war.
So there's sin number two, nationalism, love of country. He is proud to be an American. He is proud to manufacture his products right here in the United States, and he's proud to help out the president in this time of need. So in this era of left-wing globalism, a little bit of nationalism, a little bit of America first rather than multiculturalism, they hate that. The left absolutely hates that. So he just added to his private sector hate already. That's sin number two. But as if the left's heads hadn't exploded already, just in case they hadn't, he puts the topper. Sin number three. Here's Mike Lindell.
God gave us grace on November 8, 2016 to change the course we were on. God had been taken out of our schools and lives. A nation had turned its back on God. And I encourage you to use this time at home to get back in the Word, read our Bibles, and spend time with our families.
Uh-oh. He didn't just thank God for President Trump's election, did he? He didn't just encourage people to read the Bible and spend time with their families. Surely he didn't say that, right? But then there's more.
Our president gave us so much hope where just a few short months ago, we had the best economy, the lowest unemployment, and wages going up. It was amazing. With our great president, vice president, and this administration, and all the great people in this country praying daily, we will get through this and get back to a place that's stronger and safer than ever.
Yep, he just thanked the president, thanked the administration for providing hope, encouraging people to pray for this administration, for these leaders, to come together as a country so they can make good decisions and then we can get through this together. That's how we get through this together. And the left just went absolutely nuts. It is unreal how vile their response has been and how just stunned they are that someone would say these kinds of things. Check out NBC. This is MSNBC. This is Ali Velshi over at MSNBC, one of the hosts over there. He tweeted this. He said, Trump just called the MyPillow guy up to the podium in the Rose Garden. You cannot make this stuff up. What does that even mean? As if it's so bad to bring one of these CEOs up there who is providing a service. This guy has taken his MyPillow factory and transformed it to making masks, protective masks, ramping up so that by the end of the week, they could make 50,000 masks per day to help out during this coronavirus outbreak crisis that we're in right now. This is what his company's doing. And Velshi is stunned that this guy would be on stage. Then you have MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski. Here's what she tweeted. Is that the MyPillow guy? Do I need to turn the volume up? I was waiting for the doctors. Give me a break. We hear from the doctors every single press briefing, every single time. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx. We hear from them. We hear from FEMA. We hear from the vice president who's leading the task force. We hear from President Trump. We hear from all these people. It's nice to hear also from what the private sector is doing to help. Then you've got this Julie Brown who writes for the Miami Herald. I assume that means she's some kind of journalist. Here's what she tweeted. The MyPillow guy was at the coronavirus briefing today. Boy, oh boy, do we need SNL this Saturday. If this had been an SNL skit, we would have thought it was fake, right? You can't make this bleep up. Who's going to play the MyPillow guy? Again, I don't understand the outrage here. I don't understand it. And then you've got Tom Nichols, okay? He is a writer. He labels himself as an ex-GOPer and never Trumper. He took to Twitter and said, well, imagine my relief that the MyPillow guy is on the job. Why do these people have to be so pathetic? So I looked at that guy in particular, looked him up, and just yesterday, he ran an op-ed. USA Today saw fit to print an op-ed from that guy. And here's part of what he wrote. Here's just one paragraph. He said, he brought up, he meaning Trump, President Trump, he brought up a parade of CEOs, including a cameo appearance from the MyPillow company owner and indefatigable Trump cheerleader Mike Lindell, who turned an admirable gesture by his company into a campaign plug, replete with a creepy mini sermon about how God chose Trump and how we must put God back in our schools. What is with these people? The mere mention of God drives them absolutely nuts. Support for President Trump drives them up the wall, and they just can't stand it. The freakout has been unreal. So yesterday, Lindell spent his time going on various shows getting his reaction to the left's outrage. He was on Lou Dobbs speaking on Fox Business, and Lou showed him a clip from MSNBC's Chris Hayes, and I'll show you that real quick.
I personally can't help but feel these daily sessions are bad for the country, even dangerous from a public health perspective. It seems crazy to me that everyone's still taking them when you got the MyPillow guy getting up there talking about reading the Bible.
It's just unreal. And Lindell's reaction was pretty blunt and definitely to the point.
I'm appalled by the journalists that I see there. I used to think, are they really that evil? Well, yes, they are.
So that's today's left-wing media. And next, I want to talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because in this outbreak, this crisis, this lockdown that we find the country under, the complete shutdown of our economy nearly, she, rather than being helpful, is playing the race card. She's looking for anyone to attack. And what's funny is the farther left you go to flat-out socialists like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they just will attack anybody. They will attack anybody to try and score points with their very small demographic, their very small constituency. This time, she's going after New York Governor Andrew Cuomo for housing that she says there's housing disparities. There's a racial element between homeowners and renters. And here's a story from Fox News. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez accused Governor Andrew Cuomo of exacerbating racial and class divides by suspending mortgage payments during the coronavirus pandemic, but not extending the same moratorium to renters. If you call for a suspension or moratorium on mortgage payments, then you should also call for that same treatment on rent payments, AOC said Tuesday on WNYC's The Brian Lehrer Show. We're kind of creating a class and race issue. I think you are, actually. We're essentially rewarding and offering preferential treatment to landowners and folks who are more wealthy, and we're not offering the same kind of relief to renters. So I'll fill you in on the exact actual policy and why she's just out there in space. But here's more from Fox News. There's absolutely racial and class inequities baked into the crisis, she told WNYC. If you are able to stay home, you are a privileged person in this moment. She said the essential workers who can't stay home, the delivery drivers, grocery store workers, food preparers, are overwhelmingly lower income. They're black, they're brown, and they still have to pay rent tomorrow. Acacio-Cortez also accused President Trump of not embracing science, failing to secure national emergency supplies, and moving too slowly. Well, of course she did. So here's the deal. Andrew Cuomo did two things. He suspended mortgage payments for 90 days. And on the renter side, since it's a different situation, renters have a contract with a building owner, a personal contract, as opposed to homeowners who have a contract with banks. You handle it differently. He did a 90-day no eviction policy. Okay, so in either case, you're safe for 90 days as a homeowner, you're safe for 90 days as a renter, then they work it out from there. Yet, she sees this as an issue that needs a problem. We have to have a problem. It has to be race-based, and that's what she's doing. So next, I want to talk about China, because as you know, all we've gotten from them is disinformation. All we've gotten from them is slow response. They are the cause of the spread. The misinformation that came out of China, their slow response, is why we have this global pandemic now. Well, there's a lawsuit coming because of that. It's originating here in America, and here's the report. The American plaintiffs in a class action lawsuit filed this month against China say the coronavirus outbreak has injected fear into their everyday lives, kept them home from work, and taken away their beloved family members as the pandemic has swept across the United States. And they lay the blame squarely at China's feet. The suit, which seeks to take advantage of limited exceptions in U.S. law that allow Americans to sue other governments, alleges that China knew that COVID-19 was dangerous and capable of causing a pandemic, yet slowly acted, proverbially put their head in the sand, and covered it up in their own economic self-interest. So I hope China has to pay big time, but as this is going on, as this is actually happening, the thought is, some are arguing that this originated in a lab. Others say, and most of the evidence say, that it originated in bats that infected humans, and the spread comes from what's known as these wet markets, like in Wuhan and other areas of China, where they're selling live bats, monkeys, dogs, and cats. They're baking them, they're slaughtering them right there on floors and tables, and the virus just spreads. Well, they're looking to open those markets back up. And here's a report from the Washington Times. The British Daily Mail newspaper reported on Saturday that, will they ever learn? Chinese markets are still selling bats and slaughtering rabbits on blood-soaked floors as Beijing celebrates victory over coronavirus. The Mail said, one source says that the markets have gone back to operating in exactly the same way as they did before coronaviruses, despite the outbreak's links to bats. The paper said terrified dogs and cats crammed into rusty cages, bats and scorpions offered for sale as traditional medicine, rabbits and ducks slaughtered and skinned side by side on a stone floor covered with blood, filth, and animal remains. Senator Lindsey Graham was on Fox News talking about this and what he wants to do to address these wet markets. And here's what he said.
Well, I'm going to write a letter to the World Health Organization and to the Chinese ambassador asking them to close the Chinese wet markets. These are open-air markets where they sell monkey, they sell bat. We think this whole thing started from a transmission from a bat to a human. About the last 3 or 4 pandemics have come from the Chinese wet markets.
The last 3 or 4 pandemics started in China. I think that's reason enough to sue them right there. But this practice of what they're doing when these exotic animals are the carriers and many times of these deadly, deadly viruses, these outbreaks, something needs to be done about that. And speaking of China, in yesterday's White House press briefing, they really took China to task for the slowness, deliberate manipulation of data that led to models that showed that this would be a dangerous but much lower outbreak, something like SARS. Dr. Birx in yesterday's press briefing referred to it as the initial modeling showed it to be more like SARS and not the need that we are seeing now, seeing what's going on in Italy and Spain and other countries. Right now, it is just going crazy. China has essentially not reported a new case in a couple of weeks. Their numbers are completely bogus, but the White House right now said that we could probably anticipate 100,000 to 240,000 deaths from this right now. I don't know if that's going to end up being accurate, but that's what they were talking about in the press conference and saying that the modeling, the reason other countries, not just America, reacted more slowly than they could have and should have is because of the data coming out of China. So we'll see how it goes. That's the latest update on what's happening, and that's the latest on Mike Lindell. Hopefully he survives. Now he knows what the media is like, and we'll see what he has to say in the future. Folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, just a little reminder before you go, and no, this does not count against my 13 minutes. Please hit the subscribe button below and tell your friends. And if you happen to miss our last show, you can check it out right here. And also for great conservative news and commentary, please check out GOPUSA.com. All right, folks, we'll see you on the next show. Have a great day.